Hey bros, Asan here. Today, forget boring history. Let's talk about real-life isekai heroes, explorers who journeyed into the unknown and changed the world. These weren't fantasy characters, they were ordinary people who braved new worlds with nothing but guts and curiosity. No cheat codes, no magic, just hardcore adventure. We're ranking the top 5 explorers who basically lived out an isekai anime before it was cool. Ready? Let's dive into the wildest sagas in history. Number 5, Marco Polo, the adventurous merchant who set out from the bustling city of Venice and journeyed all the way to distant China in the late 1200s, at a time when few Europeans had ever ventured so far east. He crossed vast continents, braved harsh deserts and towering mountains, and experienced a world completely different from his own. Facing culture shock and countless dangers, Marco eventually became a trusted advisor to the powerful Kublai Khan, ruler of the Mongol Empire. Marco spent an incredible 17 years living in the Mongol Empire, exploring its wonders, learning new languages, and serving on official missions for the Khan. He witnessed advanced technologies, grand cities, and customs that amazed him. When he finally returned to Venice, his stories sounded so unbelievable that many Europeans dismissed him as a liar. Yet, his detailed book about his travels opened up imaginations and inspired explorers for centuries to come. Marco Polo didn't just visit foreign lands, he built bridges between two worlds, bringing back knowledge, inventions, and stories that would help change Europe forever. That's classic isekai, a seemingly ordinary man swept into an extraordinary adventure whose journey transformed not only himself, but the world he left behind. Marco Polo, the Venetian merchant who became a legend, forever remembered for his epic journey and the legacy he left behind. Number 4, Ibn Battuta, the ultimate globetrotter. He left Morocco for a pilgrimage and didn't stop traveling for nearly 30 years, covering 75,000 miles, 3 times Marco Polo's distance. Ibn Battuta explored Africa, the Middle East, India and China, working as a judge and immersing himself in every culture. He survived shipwrecks, bandits and political chaos, always adapting and learning. His book, The Rila, is a window into the medieval world's diversity. Driven by curiosity, he's the isekai protagonist who never stopped leveling up. Ibn Battuta, the scholar who made the world his home. Number 3, Zheng He, the legendary Ming dynasty admiral who commanded the world's largest fleet, a force so vast it dwarfed anything seen before or since. His armada was a floating city, a marvel of engineering and ambition, with ships so massive that they became the stuff of legend. In the early 1400s, Zheng He led 7 extraordinary voyages across the Indian Ocean, venturing farther than any Chinese fleet had ever gone. With hundreds of ships, some over 4 times the size of Columbus's Santa Maria, and tens of thousands of sailors, soldiers, and diplomats, he reached as far as the coast of Africa, visiting kingdoms and forging new connections. Zheng He's missions weren't just about exploration, they were grand displays of China's power and wealth. He established trade routes, exchanged gifts, and built diplomatic relationships with rulers from Arabia to East Africa, spreading Chinese influence across the seas. He returned home with wonders never before seen in China, exotic animals like giraffes and zebras, rare treasures and stories of distant lands, dazzling the imperial court and leaving a mark on history. Yet, after his final voyage, the tides of history shifted. China's leaders turned inward, dismantling Zheng He's mighty fleet, erasing records and ending an era of outward exploration and ambition. Zheng He's story is an epic what-if, a visionary leader whose world-changing journey was cut short by politics and fear of the unknown. His legacy, once nearly forgotten, now inspires wonder and speculation about what might have been. The admiral who sailed like a legend, forever remembered as the master of the world's greatest fleet. Number 2, Christopher Columbus, the explorer who set out for Asia and landed in the Americas. Backed by Spain, he sailed west in 1492, convinced he'd find a shortcut to the Indies. Instead, he stumbled onto a continent unknown to Europeans, triggering the Columbian Exchange. Plants, animals, and ideas reshaped both worlds. But his arrival also brought devastation to native populations and centuries of colonization. Columbus never realized what he'd found, but his mistake changed history forever. He's the isekai protagonist whose blunder rewrote the map. Columbus, the accidental world changer. Number 1, Ferdinand Magellan, the legendary navigator who dared to circumnavigate the globe when most still believed the oceans held monsters, and the world's edge was a real threat. In 1519, Magellan set sail from Spain with 5 ships and a bold dream, to find a westward route to the Spice Islands. He and his crew braved relentless storms, mutinies, and the terrifying unknown, venturing into waters no European had ever crossed. Magellan discovered the treacherous strait at the tip of South America that now bears his name, then crossed the endless Pacific Ocean. His men suffered starvation, thirst, and scurvy, pushing the limits of human endurance as they sailed into the unknown. In the Philippines, Magellan met his end in battle, never seeing his journey's completion, but his battered, determined crew pressed on, limping back to Spain after 3 grueling years. Only 18 of the original 270 survived the Odyssey. Their epic voyage proved, once and for all, that the world was round. It shattered old beliefs and forever changed how humanity saw itself and its place on the planet. Magellan's journey was brutal, heroic, and world-defining, a true test of courage and vision that echoes through history. Though the hero never made it home, his quest changed everything. Magellan, history's ultimate explorer, whose legacy endures to this day. That's our top 5 real-life isekai protagonists. Explorers who faced the unknown and changed history. Their stories prove adventure is everywhere, and the world is full of new horizons. What would your isekai adventure be? Diplomat, scholar, risk-taker? You don't need a ship, just curiosity and courage. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and tell us your favorite explorer in the comments. Stay awesome, brofist.